Hey everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast for Monday, May 11th, 2020. All right, so today we have the moon well set in expansive Sagittarius. So the theme likely today around expanding our perception on things, really good for stuff like abstract thinking, seeing the bigger picture, philosophy, spirituality, and maybe getting into a bit of our adventurous side could be great to cultivate this phase of the lunar month. Now today Mercury is squaring Mars exact, so there could be a fiery nature behind our communications, maybe wanting to be direct, assertive, maybe take some action towards some things we're thinking about can make this a very constructive way of working with it. We also have Saturn going retrograde, so there could be maybe some reworking regarding some structures we've built about the past 7 months, and maybe a good time to take a pause and maybe re-examine some of the things we've built in our life since then. All right, so let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when I return. All right, so here is the sky for this Monday. And again, we are using the actual size of the constellations called true Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, and especially if you notice some of the signs are different from mainstream astrology, definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so let's take a look at the moon's placement, which is the theme of the day, and often how we're feeling emotionally. And it's in a fire sign of Sagittarius, which is also coinciding with the sun in a fire sign of Aries. So a bit of fire energy, probably some earth energy as well we'll talk about. But today the theme, really good for expanding our perception on things. Sagittarius is about seeing the bigger picture, seeing things from a more abstract point of view, and what is important to our spirit, right? Where do we feel open-minded? What can we be open-minded about here today? How can we be a bit adventurous, free-spirited? Really good to develop that more expansive and open-minded and even adventurous side of ourselves with the moon here. So the sun and moon are in harmony. We are in the disseminating phase of the cycle, so both fire signs. This whole lunar month has been about cultivating our initiating side. And so that's still, of course, the theme as the sun particularly finishes up Aries going into early this week. So great to see how can we continue to take initiative, maybe cultivate our needs and desires, cultivate more independence in our life. This is also really good to focus on. But there is still a bit of earth energy. We do have Mercury well set in Taurus now, so our minds are maybe thinking more about matters of resources or what's important to us on a material level, and taking a more slow and steady approach to whatever we're thinking about and using our mental energy towards. And Venus has been here as well, so still good to be enjoying those earthy elements of life as well, whether it's nature, relaxation, especially if that can be incorporated into relationships. Now Mars has left Capricorn, which was an earth sign, and is now well set in Aquarius. So when we are taking action, great time right now for about the next month to see how we can be progressive in our actions. How can we be future oriented, maybe challenge the status quo, get into more of our eccentric side. Really good to induce some change here when taking action with Mars in progressive Aquarius. So in terms of the aspects today, we do have Mercury squaring up to Mars. So even though there is that earthy element to how we're thinking about things, there might even be some things prompting us today on the fire realms. We may feel like it's important for us to communicate our needs, maybe to be more direct with communication. Maybe there's some things in our outer environment that are prompting us to do that. So really good day to find the constructive way of being direct, assertive, independent of our minds, of our communication, and to cultivate some of that fire energy in constructive ways. So to be aware of the self, if there are any things that we're really attached to, some strong needs or desires that we want, practicing that non-attachment to them can help the energy flow a little bit freer and a little bit more balanced. And so if there is anything that you want to intentionally put action towards that involves your mind, involves communication, maybe requires that initiative with those things, could be a very constructive day of doing that with conscious awareness and intention. But all in all, usually squares to Mars, good to be non-attached, as Mars is usually our ego needs, our desires, and so we do want to be conscious of that. Now also today, Saturn is retrograde, so the next roughly 5 months, 5 to 6 months, will be this restructuring reconsideration of the things that we've built in our life for about the past 7 months. And so if there is anything that you consider a foundation, things like maybe your work, career, maybe home stuff, whatever it is you've been putting a lot of work and patience and discipline into, we do get a bit of a pause with this now during the retrograde to kind of step back, reflect on things a little bit, and maybe start to rework some of these structures we built the past roughly 7 months. So good to think back to that time. What new have you been building or putting work into since then that now maybe you can redo, rework, and just maybe take a bit of a different perspective with during the retrograde. Great time of learning about these things and experimenting with the structures during the retrograde. All right, everyone, so that's the day in a nutshell. Most important aspect will be the Mercury square Mars. How can we intentionally incorporate Mercury, the planet of our minds and communications, with Mars, the planet of directness, independence, in constructive and healthy ways? There is still a bit of fire energy at the moment with the sun in independent Aries. So again, great to take initiative towards things, especially if there has been any shifts of your awareness since last Thursday. Last Thursday, we had the full moon, and now it's the disseminating phase. How can we implement maybe some of these shifts of perspectives and implement them into our lives here? And we have the moon in fiery Sagittarius supporting this, helping us expand our perception and get into some of that free-spirited and open-minded side of ourselves. All right, so everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that like button if you haven't yet. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe for more daily videos, and I will see you all tomorrow for the next daily forecast. Take care.